Hi, in today's video we are going to take a look at Joomla and we are going to do a little bit about GDPR or however you pronounce it. As you know, there's a new European law and one of the parts of the law is that you have to inform the users about how you are using their content. Now there are different places where you could be using their content in Joomla, like the user forms or contact forms or maybe even your mailing list. And what we're going to do today is look at how you can make a message that appears on one of these components, which then links to a page that explains how the information that they provide is being used. In order to do that, we are going to need three items. The first one would be the text or the article about how the personal data will be used. That is something that you can write yourself. Second of all, we would need a text or the module that would appear next to the component. And third of all, we would need a plugin called Advanced Module Manager by Regular Labs. You can find it from their website. There is a link in the article which I'm going to link to in the description. Or you can also install it using the Joomla installer. You can find it under Extensions, Manage, Install, and then Install from Web. And then if you type Advanced Module Manager, it would be the first option. And if you would click here, you can install it, but I already have it installed. This is my test website where I'm going to demonstrate how it works. So if you have the text ready and you have Advanced Module Manager installed, the way we're going to do it is actually pretty simple. We're going to use a module in Joomla to show the message everywhere, but only on the component where it's relevant. So we don't want it to show in every page. First, what we're going to do is create the document that explains people how the data is used. Like for example, if you're on the, I'm going to take a look at the website on the user page, and you register an account. You ask them to provide a name, a username, a password, an email address. In the document, you should explain to them why you need their name and what the username is for, why you need their email address. Basically, you have to explain to them why you are asking for all the information, and you can cover all of that in the document. And ideally, you would also explain how they can change that information and how they can delete it. Now, in Joomla, you can't have users delete their account themselves, so you'll have to add a few lines about how they can request to have the account deleted. I'm not going to show you how to make the document. I'm sure you can do that on your own. Instead, I'm going to show you my page. It says something about filler text, and then this is the part that I wrote for the user account. It explains what it does. You have two options basically. You can make one document for all the sections in the website, and then use anchor links to go to the separate pages, or you can make separate articles. That's completely up to you. Now, second of all, what you want to do is create a new module. I'm sure you're aware of how you do that. You go to extensions and modules, and you go to new. And the type of module you want to choose is custom. We are just going to make a module with a HTML editor. And in that module, we are going to show the text that you want to display on the page. For example, mine was made for the user registration. It says by registering an account, you agree to the terms and conditions, including the usage of personal information. And then there's a link that explains how the information is used. I don't have a terms and conditions yet, but yeah. You can also style the module as you see fit. And when the text is made, you can choose a position, basically. You can place it wherever you want. Just make sure that the users can see it. For example, if this is your website, make sure it's somewhere visible. Maybe I overdid a little bit, but don't put it like all the way down here. Make sure that it's clear and visible to them, that you explain to them what happens with their information before they start entering the fields. Now we've created a document with the explanation. We're halfway the module. Now when you've made enter the content and shows the position, this is what we need to do next. The next step is deciding where the message will appear. Now you know how modules work in Joomla. You can choose a menu item where you want it to appear, but we have installed Advanced Module Manager, and that gives you a whole lot more options. I'm just going to scroll to it real quick. See, menu items are still here. You can choose to include the homepage or not. You can set dates. You can set users, languages, templates. They offer you a whole lot of options for which you can choose to ignore modules or show them only for that. What you want to do is go all the way down to components and then click here on include. I'm going to rebuild my component, and then you can choose the component that you want. It will show you all installed components. The one we want is users, but you'll see you can also um, choose AC mailing. That way it would show up everywhere you're loading AC mailing components or articles. I'm going to choose users. In my example, I have created the message for all users pages whenever they log in or get register or want to change their data. And what you then do is save it. And what would happen next if you go to the, as you can see, I made one module. Um, and this is my menu. Look, if I go to the login, I see the message. If I go to register, I'll see the same message. If I go to guests, I probably won't see the message. No, because this doesn't load the component. If you go to profile, it will also show the message. Basically, it will now show the module on every page that loads the component. Now, if you want to go a step further and say that's not enough for me, and you want to, for example, link it to everywhere your login appears, you can do that as well. You can go back to the Advanced Module Manager, to the module and assignment, and you could go to, well, let's see. You can match another module. Look, same as other module. Yes, we're going to select the login form. If you did that, now you're going to see that it will load on every page where the login form loads. Let's take a look. It should load here now, or on the downloads, or on the ads page. But I'm going to go back for a bit and disable that. We don't need to go that far. Yeah, so basically that's how you can make a message that appears on every component where a user can enter data. Another cool thing that you can do is if you use one page instead of using a link to the article, you can add anchor links in the text, which you then add to the link. I don't know if you can see that part, but I added a slash user account to the article, and that would make me automatically go to submitted personal data, which automatically discusses how the user account is used. So that's how you can make a GDPR compliant message. I will repeat one more time how you can do it. First of all, you make the article that explains to users exactly how the data is used, can be changed or deleted. Second of all, you make a module and you make sure to choose a custom module and you enter the text you want and you link to the article. You display it in the position you want, but make sure that it's somewhere visible. And then finally, you go to assignments after you installed Advanced Module Manager, and you go all the way down to components, include, and you add the component for which you want the module to appear. Once you do that, you won't be 100% GDPR compliant. There are still some things that you need to do. For example, um, if you want to explicit login, well, I'm making the video anyway, I might as well show it. If you want to explicit permission, like I have over here, as you can see, I have a, well, it's in Dutch, but over here it asks you to agree with the user conditions, which you can add in an article. To enable that, you can go to extensions and plugins and profile. I keep forgetting that my website is multilingual. It's English in the backend and it adapts to language in front. So if you go to user profile and you enable this, you can choose whether the terms of service are required, whether they need to agree with them or not. And over here you can select an article, which is another Joomla article that you can write. Once you enable that, they have to agree with the conditions so that no client will claim that they didn't consent to creating the article. Now I've got a bunch of articles here, extra fields. If you don't want that kind of data, you can just disable them all. We don't need the address or the city or the county. We're just going to disable them all, and then we'll look at what the registration page looks like. Disable, disable, disable. Date of birth seems a bit out of place. I would have expected that over here, but it is what it is. Save and close. Let's take a look. Right now, as you can see, you now have a registration field, basically the same Joomla registration field with the warning, the explanation how you use the data, and they have to agree with the terms and conditions which you listed here. If you click this, it will open the articles. Well, in my case, it's the same as the user data. It's probably a better idea to make a separate article. I just wrote this one for the demo. So that's it. That's how you can make GDPR messages and explain users how their data is used on the page where you're asking for it, so that there's no confusion or having to look through the website. It will make you, well, pretty GDPR compliant. There's always a lot of work to do, but it will put you on the right way. Hopefully this video helped, and we'll get back to you soon with more interesting Joomla videos. Bye.